Hi basketball fans, welcome back to the channel. If you thought the SEC was just another conference, think again. Because right now, the most intense, physical, headline-grabbing battles in college basketball are running straight through the Southeastern Conference, and at the center of that storm stands the South Carolina Gamecocks. This isn't hype. This is dominance. This is sold-out arenas shaking. This is defensive pressure that suffocates elite scorers. This is five-star talent coming off the bench like it's routine. This is a program that doesn't just survive the SEC gauntlet, it controls it. Under the leadership of Dawn Staley, South Carolina has turned expectation into intimidation. Every matchup feels personal. Every road game feels hostile. Every showdown, especially against rivals like LSU, feels like March in February. And the scary part? They don't flinch. Competition. If you love rivalries with real tension, if you love watching a powerhouse defend its throne in the toughest conference in America, you're in the right. Before we dive into this full breakdown of how South Carolina took over the SEC and why the rest of the league is still chasing them, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Is South Carolina still the undisputed standard in the SEC, or is someone finally ready to take them down? Let's get into it. This isn't just a basketball story. This is a dominance story. A culture story. A pressure story. A championship standard story. Because when you talk about the Southeastern Conference right now, you cannot have that conversation without bringing up the South Carolina Gamecocks. And when you bring up South Carolina, you're talking about control. You're talking about a program that doesn't just compete in the SEC, it sets the temperature. It dictates the pace. It forces everyone else to adjust. The SEC has always been brutal. Physical. Relentless. Unforgiving. It's the kind of league where ranked teams fall on the road, where freshmen are tested immediately, where every possession feels like it matters twice as much. There are no easy nights. No safe environments. No guaranteed wins. And yet, in the middle of that chaos, South Carolina built something steady. Something intimidating. Something that feels inevitable. When Dawn Staley took over in Columbia, the Gamecocks were competitive but not feared. They were respectable but not dominant. What Staley did wasn't an overnight miracle. It was structural. It was cultural. It was intentional. She changed expectations first. Before championships. Before banners. Before national rankings. She established that competing wasn't enough. Being close wasn't enough. Almost wasn't acceptable. Defense became identity. Rebounding became non-negotiable. Conditioning became a weapon. Depth became a strategy. And slowly, the SEC shifted around them. Programs like the LSU Tigers women's basketball, the Tennessee Lady Volunteers basketball, the Ole Miss Rebels women's basketball, and the Alabama Crimson Tide women's basketball all present different styles and different threats. LSU brings swagger and star power. Tennessee carries history and grit. Ole Miss leans into defensive toughness. Alabama thrives on speed and momentum swings. But when those teams face South Carolina, something feels different. There's pressure from the opening tip. Pressure defensively. Pressure on the glass. Pressure in transition. Pressure in late-game moments. It's not just about scoring runs. It's about suffocation. Opponents don't simply lose, they get worn down. That's what depth does. Most teams rely heavily on one or two stars. When rotations shorten in tight games, fatigue sets in. South Carolina does the opposite. They send waves. Five-star recruits come off the bench. Veterans rotate seamlessly. Freshmen step in without hesitation. The drop-off between starter and reserve is minimal, and sometimes non-existent. It's not accidental. It's development. Players arrive talented, but they leave refined. Post players improve footwork and passing angles. Guards become smarter in decision-making. Shooters extend their range. Defenders anticipate rather than react. The growth is visible from November to March. And culture ties it all. South Carolina's locker room has embraced role acceptance in a way that many elite programs struggle to maintain. Not every McDonald's All-American will average 20 points. Not every five-star recruit will start immediately. But buy-in has become the standard. Sacrifice is normalized. Defense is celebrated just as loudly as scoring. That's leadership from the top. Dawn Staley's presence on the sideline is calm but commanding. She doesn't chase moments. She controls them. And in high-profile SEC clashes, especially against LSU and head coach Kim Mulkey, the intensity elevates. Those matchups feel different. Louder. Heavier. National. They carry rankings, emotion, history, and personality. They feel like March in February. And more often than not, South Carolina responds with composure. That composure shows most clearly on the road. SEC arenas are hostile. Baton Rouge roars. Knoxville shakes. Oxford presses in. Tuscaloosa gets loud. But South Carolina doesn't panic when momentum swings. They execute. They defend. They rebound. They trust the system. And then there's home court. When teams enter Colonial Life Arena, they step into more than a building. They step into expectation. The crowd energy feeds defensive runs. The noise fuels transition bursts. The environment reinforces what the program already believes: winning is not a surprise. It's routine. But dominance inside the SEC means more than conference standings. It translates nationally. The SEC schedule prepares teams for the NCAA tournament in a way few conferences can. Physical play. Elite guards. Skilled forwards. Tight finishes. If you survive this league, you're hardened. That's why South Carolina's conference dominance carries weight in March conversations. Defense travels. Rebounding travels. Depth travels. And South Carolina carries all. Success, of course, brings pressure. Every loss becomes headline material. Every close game sparks debate. Every recruiting decision is analyzed. But pressure hasn't fractured the foundation. It's reinforced it. Because the standard isn't built on hype. It's built on habits. Practice intensity. Film study. Accountability. Player development. Community support. Recruiting pipelines. Each layer strengthens the next. And the ripple effect extends beyond Columbia. Women's basketball in the SEC has grown louder, faster, more visible. Television ratings climb. Rivalries trend. Personalities command attention. The league feels primetime ready every. At the center of that surge stands South Carolina, not just as participants, as tone-setters. When future generations look back at this era of SEC basketball, they won't just remember individual games. They'll remember the feeling. The suffocating defense. The rebounding dominance. The LSU clashes. The road wins. The depth that overwhelmed opponents late. They'll remember a program that didn't stumble into power. It constructed it. Recruit by recruit. Season by season. Adjustment by adjustment. The SEC remains unforgiving. It still punishes complacency. It still produces challengers every year. But right now, the measuring stick lives in Columbia. Every contender in the conference gauges itself against South Carolina. Every rising star imagines toppling them. Every coach prepares specifically for them. That's what it means to control. And until someone consistently proves capable of shifting that balance, the South Carolina Gamecocks remain the standard inside the Southeastern Conference, not just competing in the chaos, but mastering. And that's what makes this era inside the Southeastern Conference so powerful. It's not just about wins. It's not just about rankings. It's about a standard. The South Carolina Gamecocks didn't stumble into dominance, they built it. With defense. With depth. With discipline. With leadership from Dawn Staley that refuses to bend under pressure. Every sold-out arena. Every rivalry clash. Every SEC battle adds another layer to the legacy. And the rest of the conference? They're still chasing. But now I want to hear from you. Is South Carolina still the undisputed powerhouse of the SEC? Or do you see another program rising to knock them off the throne? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, I read them all. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another SEC breakdown. Because if this season has shown us anything, the road to greatness in women's college basketball still runs through South Carolina. And we're just getting started.